We're going to be talking about appendicitis today. Mainly, appendicitis. Not really going to be discussing tumors, but we'll briefly touch upon what are the mimics as well. So, I guess a lot of first years around, and this is a very important topic for every resident, especially in the early years when you can't figure out how to find the appendix. And it will only come with practice. It will not come by watching videos. It will not come by this class. It will only come by practice, but this will give you some orientation as to how you have to approach it, where you have to look, what are the possibilities, very important topic with regard to practical ultrasound. Otherwise, for exam, I haven't seen the question, but you might get just a short note on writing features of appendicitis. So for exam, not really important, but for real life, very, very important, right? So wishing all of you a very happy new year too. A lot of you have finished your exams. I was getting a few messages. A lot of you have passed. So, congratulations if you are on the other side now. So, many, many congratulations. And I have actually seen you from the time of NEET PG to till clearing your MD exam. I feel very, very proud of all of you who've done that. So, on that note, let's start. This will be a short class. It's a short topic, so won't be a very, very 1 hour long class. I'll try and finish quickly. So, when we talk about appendicitis, just a few points in case you write a theory, you get a theory question. What are the things you want to write? Is what I have noted so that you can just revise quickly from the PDF. Appendicitis is the most common cause of non traumatic acute abdomen requiring surgery. And the whole point of radiology is to not have a normal appendix post surgery, right? So it's more to rule out a normal appendix rather than to find appendicitis. That is what is our main aim as radiologists. And don't shy away from saying that you can't see the appendix on ultrasound, because CT has very, very high sensitivity. So look at this. Even if we do a graded compression sonography, it has a sensitivity of around 86 and 80%. But when you look at CT and MRI, very, very high percentages. MRI values obviously will decrease when we go to pregnancy. This is data for non-pregnant, and in non-pregnant, you would anyways not do MRI. You would do a CT. So CT has very high sensitivity and specificity, much higher than what is being reflected in these numbers. Also, I would say more than 95% of the times you would be correct if you see findings on CT, or you see a normal appendix on CT. You are very, very sure whether it's appendicitis or it's not appendicitis. So even though they are talking about diagnostic performance for picking up appendicitis, for picking up a normal appendix and ruling out an appendiceal pathology, CT is very, very good, close to 98 to 100% of the times. So that is what you want to keep in mind, that whenever you have a slight doubt, get a CT scan done. There are many, many CT protocols. So let me just talk about it right now. In India, we just do routine CCT abdomen. But in the US, what they do is a focused appendiceal CT, where they don't take from the dome of diaphragm till the pelvis. They only start from the subhepatic region. So you take a topo, and there you start from the subhepatic location, and then you go down till the pelvis. So you can do a focused CT scan. As far as the protocol of CT scan is concerned, but in India, we don't really do focus CT because it's hardly little radiation that gets affected, that gets saved. So rather just do a complete CECT. No oral contrast needed, nothing. Just do a CCT. Even if you are giving oral contrast, the accuracy doesn't really change. So plus minus oral contrast. With and without, the accuracy numbers are going to be the same, right? So that is what is about the CT. A routine CCT is what is done. MRI also very routine sequences. You're gonna do T1, T2. You'll try to make it as fast as possible, because sometimes, most of the times it's gonna be a pregnant woman that you're gonna be imaging, right? So this is what is the whole point of all appendiceal pathologies. Mainly, we're gonna be talking about 5 features, 5 steps. The first step is to locate the appendix. Second point is to know the features of appendicitis on ultrasound, on CT, on MRI, how it will look. Third is to eliminate the false positives and the false negatives. Essentially, what will be the mimics of appendicitis, or where can appendicitis actually look like a normal appendix? Recognize the complications and report them, and other differential diagnosis. So these are the five things that I'm gonna discuss. So when we talk about the first thing, before we go into the first thing, the clinical score, I'm sure you guys remember the Mantle score. So any score more than equal to 7, the clinical suspicion is very, very high. So you should just be aware. You are not going to be calculating, but you should just be aware of what are the features. So the patient is going to come to with periumbilical pain, and I'm sure you remember it migrates to the right lower quadrant, and that does get 2 points. So this migratory pain is very, very important. Most common feature being anorexia, nausea, vomiting. You're going to have leukocytosis. Something very helpful for us as radiologists is point tenderness. That is something which is the most useful. If the patient says that this is where it's hurting, just put the probe there. So probe tenderness is something which is the radiological marker of peritoneal inflammation. So that is something which is very, very useful. So what we're giving as 2 points is what translates to probe tenderness. And the pediatric score, don't know if you're aware, is a different score which is called as a Samuel score, more or less the same features. Okay, so this is about the clinical score. Voice got muted? No. Check your device. My voice is fine. Right. So now why is appendix such a big deal? Right. So it's because of its variable position. I'm sure you remember this figure. So most common is retrocecal position, right? So as long as it's retrocecal, we are usually able to locate it. But then there could be variable positions such as paracecal. That's also not a problem for us. Subcecal, also not a problem. Pelvic can sometimes be hidden, and pre-ileal, post-ileal can sometimes be difficult, right? So these are the different positions. So now few tips and tricks while performing ultrasound. So high resolution linear probe is the best probe. I'm sure you know that, to locate the cecum and the last ileal loop. But something which you can start off with is a curvilinear probe. So what I used to do is, you start with the left flank with the curvilinear probe first. A lot of seniors used to say that endocavitary probe can also help because it gives you an overview of the entire area. So especially in difficult cases, a good overview using curvilinear slash endocavitary probe is very useful. So you do that, and once you have localized, what you have to find is the ileocecal junction. You don't have to find appendix first. You have to find the IC junction. So once you've found the IC junction, now you take the linear probe and locate the cecum and the terminal ileum. Once you have find the IC complex, now search for the blind ending structure. So the appendix is 2 to 3 centimeter below the ileocecal valve. See, cecum is going to have hostration, right? So basically ascending colon is going to have hostrations. That's how you're going to identify colon. Colon se cecum mil jayega. When you find the cecum in the right lower quadrant, that's where you are going to then see the ileum. Ileum, because it's small bowel, it's not going to have hostrations. You're going to see a featureless loop. So you see the cecum and the ileocecal junction. Once you see the ileum, now you have to trace and find the appendix. So that's the whole point. So 2 to 3 centimeter below the IC junction is where we search for the appendix. How is it going to appear? One, blind ending. You will always see the gut signature. It is going to be non-compressible, aperistaltic tubular diverticulum. This line should be, on the tips of your fingers. Blind ending, gut pattern, non-compressible, aperistaltic tubular diverticulum, which is coming from the posteromedial wall of the cecum, caudal to the IC junction, 2 to 3 centimeter caudal to the IC junction. So that is what is important. ये शुरू के 5-6 words अगर आपने एक flow में बोल दिया, people know that you know stuff, right? Very, very important. So what we use is the graded compression technique. I'm sure you know that. Basically using slowly, you keep applying pressure and you are trying to displace the overlying bowel loop so that the appendix can come more superficially. So this is, time tested, very, very traditional method of finding the appendix. As I said, screen with endocavitary or curvilinear probe. Apart from that, what you also want to remember is sometimes, so these are few other tips that you can keep in mind if you're not finding the appendix. So left lateral decubitus position can help. So if you are not finding in supine,